your lick back and get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your dishes splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back and get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX.
J-Way.
I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless.
I'm gone.
Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck.
Give me that.
To the trends. See you, Lee, be the best.
Welcome to Bleachers and Speakers. I'm your host, June. I got my boy B Foster, and no, this is not a mistake. This is a calculated show. This is not from earlier. We went live earlier, but we was talking Pistons basketball. But now we're going to talk some Lions. But first, before we get into that, I want to remind everyone to subscribe to Bleachers and Speakers on YouTube and follow us on all the podcast aggregators for your audio fix. Anywhere you can listen to a podcast, you can find us. Just type in Bleachers and Speakers, FFSN in your search. Make sure you're following us and make sure that alert button is on. So that notification bell. And when we drop content, because we drop a lot of content without rhyme or reason, we want you to make sure you know we dropping the content. Then you can download it for us. So downloading lets us know that you're watching or listening, matter of fact. But Foster, this was an impromptu show called by yourself. I can imagine what next week is like, because we got a little bit of a few transactions over the past couple of days, and we're already going live about it. So I can imagine what next week is like. But today, little short show. We're gonna talk about what has happened over the past few days. Couple of the signings were head scratchers for me, but I'll give you the floor, and you can tell us about some of the signings that's happened so far in this early free agency period. And the official free agent period isn't until Wednesday when they can actually sign, but I think we can sign our own or get some kind of verbal agreement.
Yeah.
So this is what we're talking about. There's nothing official until you sign on a dotted line on Wednesday on the 12th. So, Foster, what are we doing? Who what transactions had the Lions had?
So 3 notable ones that we've seen so far. The signing of Derek Barnes. He signed a 3-year, $25 million contract, and I think $16 million of it is guaranteed. Obviously, he had a very shortened year last year. I think he only recorded 9 tackles last year, but Brad Holmes made it apparent that their focus was going to be instilling trust in those people they know before they go out in the open market. I think they got Barnes for a decent deal, especially if they expect for him to continue to ascend in the trajectory that he is headed on. He's a guy that's got a close relationship with Alex Anzalone. They certainly are, hang out outside off the field and spend a lot of time with family. So it didn't surprise me that the signing happened. But it's pretty apparent by some of the moves that that Brad Holmes made in the past and is making in the present that he's all about the chemistry and instilling trust in those that he's familiar with.
Hold on, before you go any further, I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Just in your opinion, how much of this signing of Barnes do you think has to do with the new defensive coordinator and former linebackers coach?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely. I would venture to say that he had some say in that signing happening, and the fact that he's taking over. Of course, he's going to want some continuity and some guys that he's worked with for the last couple of years. So, I think that was a major influence.
And I just took it as that's somebody he can work with, and he knows his abilities, and he knows this person. And if he wasn't someone who he didn't think couldn't get the job done, they probably wouldn't. They probably wouldn't get the was it Shepard, Coach Shepard? Is that his? Yeah, they probably wouldn't get Coach Shepard's blessing. Not that he calls shots or anything, but I'm pretty sure that this was ran by him before any kind of signing. And yeah, I think he had to have some kind of say so with that. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut your wisdom.
No, you're good. So yeah, we pretty much all the moves have happened on the defensive side of the ball. We're also bringing back Ezekiel Turner, who was a
Okay, okay. I can't do this. Okay.
yeah, definitely an individual that
Head scratcher. This is the head scratcher.
I mean, he shores up the depth. I mean, obviously, this guy was starting at outside linebacker. He's certainly not going to play that role next year when Rodriguez and Trevor Nowatzki. I mean, not that all these guys are going to come back, but I mean, he's a special teams guy. But I mean, this guy was playing meaningful games against the Vikings and Bills, and so we know there's a sense of trust that they put in the guy, not to be an every down number one player, but a depth guy. They also brought back Anthony Pittman, the guy from Wayne State, who they had to pick up when the pieces were when everybody was falling apart. So yeah, the biggest head scratcher is the name that we haven't brought up yet. But if
go ahead and tell that, because you know what it is. We talked about this guy on Wednesday on the NFC North Division show with our counterparts, and I have my philosophy, but go ahead. Who we talking about?
So I mean, this move kind of strikes me as a so I was 50-50 on this individual when we initially signed him. I thought that the potential was there if he could stay healthy. He proved yet again to not be somebody that could stay healthy, but he obviously is somebody that Dan Campbell likes. There's no way around it. He only was on the field because he didn't practice. Well, I think he practiced for only half of the training camp as well. I don't think he was 100% healthy even then, but it reminds me eerily a lot of the Mosley situation where he came in, he was somebody that was supposed to play a prominent role. He was injured very early on in the year, and then Dan Campbell brought him back for one more shot at it, and he failed again. So obviously Dan Campbell likes this guy and sees some potential in him. I think that if the Lions, there's still moves that the Lions can make to make this all go away. I mean, they only signed him for, the name is Marcus Davenport, by the way, the edge rusher that we signed to be the counterpart to Aiden Hutchinson. But I think that if the Lions go out and sign a top-notch cornerback, if they draft an edge rusher or two early on, I think that you feel a lot better about that, with Davenport just being an insurance policy for $4 million. But I got to say, I was surprised that we didn't hesitate. We immediately reached back out to Marcus Davenport, and I personally barely recall watching him play at all.
Okay. I'm ready to vent. Okay. For one, I said I was going to stop questioning Brad Holmes and let him cook. But for the life of me, I cannot let this go. He has a tendency to sign people regardless of how injury prone they are. He'll get someone if I'm an NFL player, I'm looking to go. If I'm an oft injured player, I'm calling Brad Holmes because he doesn't discriminate. He doesn't say, no, you haven't been healthy. He's like, well, I think you can help this team out. That's what he does. That's the only knock I have against Brad. He puts a lot of faith into a lot of injured people, and it bothers me. Now, the price tag, the deal is up to $4.75 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
I look at it like this, Foster. You cannot, and I don't think there's a team in the league that depends on a veteran that makes 4.75 to be a difference maker at your defensive end. More than likely, your veteran on your that's starting on your defensive end veteran. Because I don't know what the rookie price tag is, but I'm just talking about Davenport is a veteran. So that's a different type of pay. So I don't see any team in the league with a veteran at defensive end expecting to make a difference that only makes 4.75 million. So I know in my heart of hearts that this is just a depth move. And I hope that they're thinking what I'm thinking. And they're like, okay, we can't have enough defensive people. We're going to bring in some more people, but he's not going to be our starter. He's going to get minutes. He has the ability to play. And this is just what it's going to be. I don't think they're dependent on him as a starter. I hope that's the case, Foster. I just hope.
There's no way you depend him on as a starter, and it pretty much guarantees that Zadarius Smith is coming back, because there's no way you concern yourself with a $6 million cap cut and you just spent close to $6 million on Marcus Davenport. So your starters are going to be Aiden Hutchinson, Zadarius Smith, with Marcus Davenport as your depth guy, and whoever you sign as a depth guy as well, unless you get a guy like David Green. Is that what his name is? Marshall?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get a guy like him, I think
I got a feeling he won't be at 28, but go ahead.
I mean, we say that about a lot of guys, and we all know there's going to be some guys that go early on that we weren't expecting. Some random left tackle, or when you say that about enough guys, the numbers suggest somebody's got to fall. Whether it's one of those top corners like the Jahdae Barron, Will Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
You got some good receivers in this draft. You got some quarterbacks. I mean, when you start doing the math, it's like somebody respectable is going to have to fall to 28. Yeah. So we'll see, but yeah, I see this move being and you said that it's up to 4 million. So are you saying that there's some incentives involved, or
the deal is up to 4.75 million? And I don't know if there's incentives, but that's what it says. So more than likely, there is some incentives involved. Amount of games played, probably percentage of snaps. Ain't no telling. But the deal is up to 4.75 million.
Yeah. So the reality is, best case scenario, the guy plays nearly a full season and you get production out of him, because you do get good production when he's on the field. Worst case scenario, he doesn't even get the small amount that 4 million is, and you get a cheap. You take a chance, and you take a gamble, a cheap gamble, essentially. So,
but why are we surprised though, Foster? Just can you tell me why are we surprised? We've seen the Mosley saga.
Well, we're surprised, for one, that we thought that we learned our lessons from that. Not that Mosley is the same person as Davenport; they are two different individuals. But I think the most ridiculous part about it is that Dave trolled us for a full year, not just in the signing period. He trolled us the entire year, saying that, oh, maybe you'll bring back Davenport, and we laugh, ha ha ha. There's no way that we bring back Davenport, and sure enough.
And see, this is where I got to give you your credit. You never question what's going on. But I'm going to ask you this, though, Foster. They re-signed Emmanuel Mosley. Will you question Brad Holmes then?
If they re-sign him again?
Yes.
Oh, come on, bro. No.
I'm just curious. Just curious. I want to see your level of patience, because I don't have it when it comes to signing these people that are off injured. I just no.
No, that would be 2 years straight of 0 snaps. I mean, I think he played like 3 snaps year one. But for him to not even touch the field, as desperate as we were for cornerbacks last year and just defensive
It
players,
was pure desperation.
unacceptable for him to run it back.
Is he your cousin, Brad? Just tell us if you're any kin if you're any kin to the Mosleys, man. We just need to know. Foster, we're gonna take a really quick break. This is not gonna be a long show, of course. Pistons start at 8:30, and I know you want to see that. But let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat.
All right. Well, the Turner. We talked about the pick, the signing of Turner. And he was one of those players that I saw last year that was just he was out of position a lot. And it was like, why are you in there? Now, I'm not the type of person that's going to sit there and analyze every single play on defense. I'm not keying in on linebackers that are not in the play. I'm watching the ball carrier. I'm watching who gets to the ball. I'm following the football, right? I'm not paying attention to these assignments. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a linebacker and you're not being where you're supposed to be, you probably won't notice it unless the football is headed your way. And there was quite a few times the football was headed his way and he wasn't where he was supposed to be. So it was like he was highlighted a lot and being out of position when I saw him play. And I used to question, like, why is this guy out here? You know what I'm saying? But maybe he's under the same rule as Barnes. Maybe Shepard said, hey, I can work with this guy. I approve of this guy. And let's get him back. Maybe that's the case, Foster.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really worry about it. You gotta have depth guys. You gotta fill out a roster spot. I think he's still a guy that if we decide to draft a linebacker to develop, he could possibly lose his spot. But he's definitely battle tested, and there's something to be said for that. I don't want him playing meaningful games at the end of the year, but there's something to be said for experience. I know one thing: they better bring back Muhammad.
Yeah,
because they decided to bring back Davenport
for sure. And just off production alone, I would have brought back Muhammad before I brought back Davenport. So if Muhammad doesn't return, I'm gonna be pretty disappointed. Because hey, Muhammad was in there hustling. And I don't think he missed a game, because of injury. I think Davenport might have played. He played game 1. He missed game 2, got injured in game 3, and that was it for the season. It's crazy. Crazy. Any other players to note that got signed or they're talking about?
No. I'm still interested to see what we do at cornerback. I've kind of avoided this on purpose, but have you seen the talks between Carlton Davis and the Lions? Like, just as far as there being some disagreements and stuff like that. Are you able to summarize what's going on with that or no?
From what I've seen, and I kind of quit paying attention because what I saw is, I said, once that happens, it's a wrap.
It seems like it.
So first there was a quote by him saying, I'm not going to make that same mistake twice. You turn on the tape and you'll see who's the difference maker out there on corner. Now, he wasn't referring to the Lions. He was referring to Tampa Bay, where Tampa Bay had signed him for little of nothing the following year after a good year. So he's basically saying you're not going to do that again.
It's not gonna happen again, right?
So with that being said, they said his asking price is very high. And I put it like this, right? I say this. If your asking price is too high for Carlton, I hate to see him go, but I think there's other free agent corners you can go get probably for that same amount of money that Carlton Davis is asking for, that might be rated higher and more dependable as far as injury.
Honestly, a lot of these rankings for corner put him close to the top. The only names that I'm seeing that are comparable to his is DJ Reed of the Jets. And
I think he's staying there.
You think he's staying in New York?
I think he's staying there. But go ahead.
Yeah, DJ Reed of the Jets, and then
Ward.
I think the Charvarius Ward. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that he had some personal things that went on in his life in 2024 that kind of rocked, shook him up a little bit. So definitely a guy that you're rooting for, hearing, some of those things. But it appears that Carlton Davis is asking for $15 million, which they see to be a little too steep. I think we're in the 12 million range. And there's some guys out there that kind of fit that. Some of them are a little bit older, like Jonathan Jones of the Patriots. He's 32, and his estimated price is $9.5 million. Darius Slay, of course, his asking price is around 13. But yeah. Mike Hilton from the Bengals, he's 31 years old. His asking price is going to be around $12 million. So there's some options out there, but we have to leave. Even if we were in a position to get a top-notch corner in the draft, I don't feel comfortable putting a rookie and a guy like Terrion Arnold.
We need to sign a corner this free agency, a starter. We need that. Robinson is your backup in a clutch. Now, I do think Robinson is your guy. He's better than the nickel. I believe he belongs outside.
You think the low guy Robertson?
Yeah. Watching him play the last couple games, starting on the outside, and he's always been on the outside. We just, we put him at nickel because we've had two solid starters, but I don't think you should play him out there exclusively all game. So that's why I'm saying you do need a veteran cornerback to start. Robinson is your relief guy, and he can play some slot. So, he can play your nickel. So you don't pencil Robinson in as your starter opposite of what's his name? Your other starter. You don't pencil him in as your starter. He'll play, but you want a Carlton Davis out there. You want a Ward out there. You might want a Darius Slay out there. Maybe you get Darius Slay. If you can't come to terms with Carlton Davis, you get Slay on a 1-year deal. You draft an understudy, and you go from there. And you try it again next year and get you a corner, that's a free agent corner, or hopefully by then Rakestraw is ready. So I don't know, man. I knew it was going to be an issue, Simon Carlton Davis, when he made that statement.
Yeah, those DBs are very they can be very hyperbolic on social media and very boisterous and outspoken. And I don't know. But we'll see what happens there. It's still early. There's still a lot of options out there as far as corner is concerned, as far as edge rusher is concerned. Hey, I'll take Byron Murphy off of Minnesota's hands if they want.
I think they're going to resign him.
Yeah,
I think they're going to resign him. But I would contact his agent on Monday for sure.
See what he's talking about.
Hey, what do you want? We'll get you here. We got to start, and you can start here.
In your opinion, do you think that the Lions still look at guys like Khalil Mack, Ojolari, Dante Fowler, Chase Young? Do you still think that we're in the market for a a productive edge rusher to bolster the collection that we have right now, or do you think that that's going to be a draft centralized position at this point?
I have some very strong takes on that, Foster. Some very strong takes.
Well, send us off with that.
Lions fans, do not get your hopes up for Myles Garrett. Do not get your hopes up for Trey Hendrickson. Do not do it. If the Lions are going to get a if they're going to get a defensive end in this free agency period and before the draft, what they're going to do is they're going to get one via free agency. They're not going to trade any unless it's a 5th rounder or 6th rounder. They're not going to trade away anything to get someone like Myles Garrett here or someone like Hendrickson here. And the reason being is because there's a draft coming up. And there's a draft where you could possibly get a very, very good defensive end at the 28th pick. You definitely can do that. So they're not going to break the bank when it's plentiful. Now, do I think it's safer to get a proven defensive end on the market? Absolutely. I'm just saying what I think is what's going to happen. I don't think we get Myles Garrett. I don't think we're going to get Hendrickson. I don't think it's happened. Now, those free agents that you mentioned, there's a better chance of getting those people you mentioned before Garrett or Hendrickson. So I would say that we would be, in my opinion, you get one of those people if you can. And I think you still, somewhere in the draft, you'd still get another defensive end. It may not be the 28th pick, but you still go there. I hope this free agency period, they go along and they find a corner and they find a defensive end. I hope that happens. If that happens in the free agency period, that frees up so many things you can do in the draft. It's crazy. You don't have to, there's not a rush to draft a defensive end in the first round. You could, you can get an offensive lineman if you wanted to. You can get a linebacker if you wanted to. You can get a wide receiver in the second round if you wanted to. Something along those lines. It gives you a lot of flexibility. That's the thing about free agency period. If you address needs through free agency with proven players, you can flex a little bit. Your flexibility is increased come the draft. Troy, what's up? Troy says say we got some cap space to work with. Yes, we do. It's just a matter of fact of where it's going to be spent on. You got to remember, we got some in-house people that we need to take care of. Zeitler, I hope he gets re-signed. I don't care how old he is. He held up pretty good his end of the bargain as far as blocking. He was an excellent guard.
I think he played every game, didn't he?
He sat out one. Mahogany played one game for him for sure, at least one. I think in the draft, you go out and you go get you a right guard at some point because Glasgow he's getting a little long in the tooth. So you got to go out and address that. I think at some point you have to address that part of the line as well. And you could use a linebacker. You know what I'm saying? I think as far as safeties, you're set for a minute. You might pick up one to groom at some point, but for depth, and that's why I think you should re-sign Iffy. But defensively, these are things of need. I think you need a D tackle. I think because the Lee McNeil he's not going to be there September. He's going to miss a few games in the 2025 season because of when he tore his ACL. He's a big guy. It usually takes about a year for those big guys to recover from the ACL injuries, surgeries and stuff like that. I think you need a D tackle. You definitely need a defensive end. You definitely need a linebacker. That Rodriguez tearing his ACL late in the season, that hurt. So you're going to have to you're going to need a linebacker, even if it's just for depth, because I think you got your 3 starting linebackers with Barnes, what's his name? What are the linebackers? Anzalone and the big fella.
You talking about linebackers? You got Anzalone, Barnes, Rodriguez, Nowoski.
No, the guy from Iowa. He started.
Oh, Jack Campbell. I forgot about Jack Campbell. I forgot about Jack Campbell.
I think your 3 starters there. You're solid there, but you need a 4th linebacker. Now, do you get one first round in the draft? No, you don't need to.
Linebackers, I feel like it's been a while since I feel like edge rushers have taken over for those downhill, linebackers at this point. You really don't see too many. When's the last blue chip linebacker, like true linebacker that you saw?
I don't think that's it, Foster. I believe I agree with your point that linebackers aren't. You used to
they're like running backs. You used to have.
You needed 3 linebackers at least, right?
Yeah.
But now it's such a passing league. You're more in a nickel package than you are anything.
Yeah, so you got to stack up on the corners more than anything.
Yeah, you remove that linebacker and you put another corner in there because there's 3 wide receiver sets, and your running backs are going in motion to run out, and they're not doing as much running as they used to be. This is a passing league, so sure. That's why they say that. That's why they always talk about 2 linebackers in that mix when they talk about the Lions defense, and that's usually Campbell and Anzalone, right. And Barnes with Spell, Campbell, and that's how it's been going. And you have a nickelback, or you bring in an extra safety. It's just what it is. That's just how it is. And it's like there's a premium on passing this year. I mean, there's not a lot of backs. Like even with the Lions, you see the Lions versus Washington. Like Gibbs was gashing them, but they still wanted to pass the ball. It's just a passing league. That's just the nature of it. I'm not saying the game was called, but that's just the way the game is played. You're going to throw the ball. You're not going to just run. I don't care if you're getting 10 yards of carry. You're going to pass the ball.
Yeah, Ben Johnson was other shaving point. So who's to say what that was all about? But I'm gonna leave you with this. So obviously we still got Tim Patrick out there. That's the number 3 receiver. We love our receivers in Detroit, and the topics and the topic of receivers always comes up no matter what, whether it's in the draft or in free agency. What do you think about going after a Keenan Allen, a guy that kind of disappeared a little bit and has probably lost a little bit of a step since the Chargers, but still had a pretty solid year with Chicago last year?
Hey, bro, I love Keenan Allen, bro.
Yeah, and he destroys us. I mean, was that even a question?
I've seen what he's done to us.
Right.
And I think, no disrespect to Tim Patrick, I love Tim Patrick, but I think that's an upgrade from Tim Patrick if you bring Keenan Allen.
I'm going to look at the PFF scores right now. Allen was 64 last year. Let's see where Tim Patrick falls.
Yeah.
7 touchdowns, by the way. Go ahead.
But also you have to think, that Bears offensive line was horrible. Rookie quarterback. Yeah, I think if you put Tim Allen in the situation where Tim Patrick was, I think PFF is probably a little higher.
So Tim Patrick's PFF rating was actually higher at 67. What I say, 64 for Keenan Allen?
Yeah, but I think Keenan Allen's PFF would have been at least that or better if he was here.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, with our offense, yeah, he definitely would have fared pretty, with our offensive line.
And don't get me wrong, I re-signed Tim Patrick, re-signing. You know what I'm saying? He's one
Definitely going to get him for a cheaper price than you get Keenan Allen. I think Keenan Allen can probably still. I mean, he had 7 touchdowns last year. He had, I think, 70 catches. I think he
ran
still
pretty good versus the Lions. He had a long touchdown versus
yeah.
us.
I want to say out of the 7 touchdowns, he probably had a good
about
4 against. Yeah, didn't he have a 3 touchdown game against the Bears or something like that?
Yeah, against us, yeah.
I mean, again,
Against us,
on like Thanksgiving or whatever.
Yeah. So I still think he has something left in the tank. I think he's serviceable. Like, he doesn't have to get into an offense where he has to be the man. You got, and I know you wanted to sign off, but I got a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you go after you, Foster? Do you go after Metcalf? Do you go after Devontae Adams? Are you going after those people?
So, yeah, I mean, if there's an opportunity with the window we have right now, I think that you sacrifice that pick and go after the big splash. Guys like Devontae Adams and DK Metcalf definitely move the needle. They are exactly what we need as far as their physicality and having that, that guy that can go, that can has the catch raters. They have the physicality. I mean, I think that would do a lot for us. When you talk about corners and the toughest guards for them, Devontae Adams is always amongst that. And then, of course, DK Metcalf. I mean, that dude is like an edge rusher running down the field, like catching passes. I mean, he's like 6'5", 240. Like, he's a monster. Like, can you imagine him opposite Amon-Ra St. Brown with a JMO streaking down the field with his 4.2 speed? Like, we would be unstoppable if we added either one of those guys. So, salute to Tim Patrick. I think he would be an amazing number 4 option if we could keep him and trade for a Metcalf or Adams. So there's a lot of moves yet to be made. Adams is he a free agent right now? I know Metcalf wants a trade. So
I think Adams is a free agent.
Yeah.
But also Tyler Lockett has been released as well.
Yeah, Tyler Lockett. He's like a speed, like a slot receiver guy. I mean, I don't think he's too much better than a Khalif Raymond or even a Tim Patrick. Honestly.
He's open a lot though, bro. I will say that though. He's open a lot.
Oh yeah. Lockett's he's a staple. He's an NFL. He's a staple.
And I don't mean to change the subject, but Golden State is up 9-0 with a timeout, man. I don't know if I want to start watching it.
I was just about to look over.
It's starting to get dark a little early.
It's early.
Yeah, but us and slow starts just aren't it. But anyway, you already put your bow on this, right?
Yeah, that pretty much wrapped it up.
Yeah.
It's early.
It's early. And you're going to see a lot of us next week doing a lot of Bleachers to Speakers shows or, little drops here and there, because Monday is where agreements will be made, verbal agreements will be made, and we'll know a lot Monday what's going to happen on Wednesday. So you're going to hear from us on Monday and Wednesday for sure. Wednesday, we have an NFC North Division show. Dave will be hosting that. That's the Minnesota people. And I'm going to put a YouTube link up on Facebook. And I need y'all to chime in, because the Minnesota Vikings fans be on me and Foster neck. We don't have enough support in there. So I need y'all to check in and represent this Detroit. So we're gonna get out of here and we're gonna watch this that's a turnover. We're gonna watch this game. We're gonna watch the Pistons. We'll be talking about the Pistons probably. Who knows what happened, man? We might see us tonight, man.
if it gets
you never know. But let's get out of here, Foster. Subscribe to Bleachers to Speakers on YouTube.
Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. Get your lick back. If a nigga gon' do something, ain't no chit chat. Better stay up out the way, don't get your shit splat. Stop letting this shit slide and get your lick back. And get your lick back. I feel like I'm JX. I'm a perfectionist.